Hi readers, Chris here. Today I'm going to be doing the Friends book tag. I understand that this tag was originally created by Novelle Novels. I will link their channel down below. Get it? Novelle Novels. And then I was tagged to do this by one of my favorite booktubers, Mason in the Dark. Again, I will link his channel down below as well. If for some reason you're not following Mason in the Dark, do yourself a favor and go follow him right now. Because not only are his videos absolutely hilarious, but he's one of the nicest people that I have met on all of YouTube so far. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this tag with Friends F Friendship, a book with a strong friendship. Of course, there are tons of books out there with good friendships, things like, Sam and Frodo, etc., etc. The one that I am going to pick is two characters, Karu and Zuzana, from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. If you have not read Daughter of Smoke and Bone and the sequel, Days of Blood and Starlight, you are missing out. This is one of my favorite YA fantasy series, and I think that the friendship between the main character Karu and her best friend Zuzana is super great. Mostly because in this book in particular, the second one in the series, we find out that Karu is not exactly who she thought she was. She's not exactly human, and when Zuzana finds out about this, instead of shunning her or, reacting in some crazy way, she goes out of her way to try and protect Karu, to try and save Karu. If anything, it strengthens their relationship. It strengthens their bond. And when Karu decides to disappear, she has to go be out on her own and have her own adventure. At the end of Days of Blood and Starlight, Zuzana ends up coming after her. Spending her own money, flying to a different country, finding her best friend in the middle of the desert, because that's the kind of friend she is. They love each other, they're best friends, they would do anything for each other, and I think that their relationship is so cute. It reminds me of me and my best friend. So Karu and Zuzana, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, that's my pick for friendship. Moving on to R, which stands for real life. Now, I will admit, I do not read a ton of nonfiction books. In fact, I really don't read any nonfiction books except for one particular genre, and that is the rock bio. So my pick for this book is I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, The Dirty Life and Times of Warren Zevon. If you're not a classic rock fan and you're not into classic rock, Warren Zevon was a classic rocker, partied a little bit too hard, passed away, and this is written by his wife with a foreword by Carl Hyacin, whose name you might recognize. He's a well-known best-selling author. But anyway, again, I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but for some reason, there's something about rock bios that really appeals to me, because to me, they're like a real-life fantasy. You have these people that have excessive amounts of money, excessive amounts of fame, and the things that they do with the money and fame sometimes are normal, regular people can't even conceive of it. It's so crazy and outlandish, and a lot of the times it ends quite badly for them, unfortunately, but I think that it's really fascinating. And so if you're ever looking for a real life fantasy, or maybe to feel a little better about yourself, that you're not, a big drug addict, rock bios, give it a try. Next up is I for independent book. Again, I do not have a lot of experience with independent books and independent authors. That is something that I'm trying to change, and I've been lucky enough to read 2 independent books so far this year. The first was Gutted by Nicole Bates, and the other one was Hybrid Magic by Christy Bolin, which I was actually a beta reader for. I do have reviews on both of these books. If you're interested in those, you can find them on my channel. If you are interested in learning more about independent books and independent authors, I would actually recommend that you go check out Steve Talks About Books and Stuff. I will link his channel down below, but Steve does a really great job of highlighting independent books and independent authors. I know it's something that he's really into doing. The next time I read an independent book, I'm definitely going to go and get something that he recommended. So I would go check out his channel if you want to learn more about independent books. E is for ending. Choose an ending that made you scream. If anyone saw my recent Cinder review, that was definitely an ending that I was not happy with because it ended on a big cliffhanger. And another book that I read a long time ago that also made me scream was Brissinger. Now, this is part of the Aragon series by Christopher Paolini. I read this series a long time ago in my younger years, and I have a very vivid memory of when this book was coming out. Because, again, this was the third book in the series, and at the time, this is kind of before the days of social media, Twitter, all that stuff. So I thought that this was going to be the final book in this series. So imagine my surprise when I was reading along, and then I came to this final last page here that says the story will continue and conclude in the fourth book. I had no idea there was going to be a fourth book in this series, and I was so mad, I legit threw this book across my room. Luckily, nothing happened to it because it's still in perfect condition, but I literally, screamed and threw this book. I was so mad. So now, ever since then, I always try to do my research and find out exactly how long a series is going to be so that the same thing does not happen to me. So that is my pick for E. N is going to be for new. Choose a new book or new release that you want to read. Now, technically, this book has already come out, but Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir is probably the most recent new release that I really want to read. I haven't even read The Martian, but I want to read that. But I definitely want to read Project Hail Mary. I have heard so many good things about it. Everyone that's reviewed it says that it's amazing. So this book is near the top of my TBR. I want to get my hands on it. I will get my hands on it eventually. So that is my pick for N. D is for dark. Choose a book with dark themes. Darkness. Again, I've talked a lot about the Poppy War on this channel. Stephen King, obviously, lots of darkness. But my pick for this is actually going to be a book called The Power by Naomi Alderman. Now, this was a book that a friend of mine actually gave to me to read, and it's one of the first books that I ever reviewed, publicly on my website on Instagram. And basically, the premise of this book is what would happen if all the women in the world suddenly could wield electric power. And on the surface, that sounds like it'd be really cool, right? If I woke up one day and had electricity, that'd be cool. But the thing is that just like all peoples of the world, women are not all one thing. Women are not all raised in kind, loving homes. Some women are orphans. Some women have been abused. Some women have been victims of horrible crimes. So when these type of women get this type of power, they don't use it for good. They use it for revenge. They use it for vengeance. They use it to cause pain and suffering. I mean, this book is the epitome of darkness and how things can go wrong if power gets into the hands of the wrong people. And again, just like men, just like any group of people, women are not all one thing. And a lot of the women in this book are not great people, and they don't use their powers responsibly. And they definitely use their powers in incredibly dark ways, incredibly twisted sometimes. And yeah, this book was very crazy, very dark. I had very mixed feelings on it because it was just so whoa, that is crazy. But I think that you should give it a chance because I think it's such a fascinating concept. I think you should give it a chance. So that is my pick for D, Darkness, The Power. finally, that brings me to S, which stands for share. Now, this is the part where I'm supposed to tag a bunch of people to do this video. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that most of the booktube channels that I watch and follow have actually already done this tag. So if for some reason that you have not done the Friends book tag yet, please consider yourself tagged. But I know a lot of people have already done this one, so I don't want to re-tag people and make them do it twice. That is my reason for not specifically tagging anyone. But again, if for some reason you haven't done it, then please consider yourself tagged. So those are all my responses for the Friends book tag. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. I got some fun stuff coming up soon, so stay tuned for that.